All right. So I hope everyone can hear me. There was like a little bit of like a connection issue a few minutes ago because I think my Zoom suddenly didn't have any permission with YouTube anymore. So I had to do the setting on the website of Zoom so it can be able to be connected with YouTube. Okay, so something changed with the setting of Zoom. So I had to solve a little technical issue. Thank you so much for your patience waiting for this live session to start. All right, if you can hear me, you can type yes, and you can type where you're from in the world. I know I have like followers and also people from all over the world. Yeah, okay, let's see. I'm also gonna share the link to the four reference photos with you. And there's Lara. Okay, that's great. Now I'm gonna share the uh, the Dropbox folder containing four reference photos to you in the chat box. I'm gonna copy and paste. So in the next few minutes, you can click open the Dropbox link containing four reference photos, and we'll be sketching together in the next 1 hour and 30 minutes. Let me know if you can't open that folder from Dropbox. Okay, so there should be four reference photos in that little folder on Dropbox. All right, and also happy holidays to everyone. I hope you can see me as well because there is a little bit of like buffering between Zoom and also this YouTube window here. Yeah, let me know if you can see me. Yeah, it works. Are you able to see my face, Lara? Thank you so much for joining and support. Okay, so now I'm gonna pin my demonstration surface over here. And here we are. Okay. There should be like a few minutes buffering. Okay, so that's fine. So now, in the next few minutes, we're gonna go over my current sketchbook. Sometimes the connection between YouTube and Zoom, there's a few minutes delay. We'll wait and see. Okay. Okay, great. If you can't see me, I think there's maybe a bit of settings. I'm just going to go over my current sketchbook pages. I will try that later to reveal my face. Okay, no worries. The artwork is most important. It's more important than that artist's face. Okay, so now let me flip through my current sketchbook pages. Just going to adjust my tripod a little bit higher. Okay, so this is my current sketchbook that I started to fill it on around November the 21st, okay, about a month ago, before we really head into real winter here in Vancouver. And yeah, so I started the sketchbook really easy with these mundane, everyday stuff my kitty to do. And honey bear, and also this overcast sky outside my window. So every day is special if you look at it with your artist eyes. And yes, some more at home sketches in late November. And it's starting to get festive as I began to visit cafes. And most cafes are starting to decorate their interiors with these holiday ornaments like wreaths and tinsels and holiday plants. So this is one of the cafes. It's actually pretty close to where I live. And it's inside a heritage house, about 150 years old. And then another late November sketch capturing some last bit of lingering colors in Vancouver outside the Elysian Coffee in downtown Vancouver. So yeah, a lot of fun coming up with this perspective sketch by improvising it. So I only plan to sketch this man only, and then I decided to expand my sketch to more tables behind this man over here. And yeah, so it's a really fun, dramatic perspective that I came up with in the end. And then this one, the super fancy sketch that I did at La Forêt Coffee in Burnaby. And I taught two live in-person classes last week on Wednesday and Thursday. So this one was kind of like a warm-up sketch before teaching those two in-person classes. And yeah, so this one was a lot of fun. Their Christmas tree is actually the biggest that I've ever seen yet at cafes. And they always attract lots and lots of customers. And then another festive sketch at one of my favorite cafes. This one is the Take 5 Cafe in Sapperton, New Westminster. And they have a bunch of these cute little ornaments, the red stockings and reindeer, snowman, little sculptures on the shelves. And I love their big clock showing the metaphor of the flow of time. And the next page, yeah, some more. It's really rare to see a beautiful sunset sky like this in winter, so I had to sketch it. I think it was done on Tuesday, December the 3rd. A beautiful, soothing sunset sky in winter. And then another festive cafe sketch at Uprising Bread's Bakery in East Vancouver. So this bakery cafe, they have they bake their own cookies, breads, and pretty much all other food from 3 a.m. in the morning. So they always sell the most fresh stuff every day. Okay, and this one, I love their doorway covered in these green tinsels and ornamental balls, and the light coming in combined with the shadow, just giving this space a really special elevated atmosphere of the holidays. Some more little snippet sketches done around downtown. And sketching on cloudy days. So cloudy days could be really sensational to capture as well. We are able to observe some bluish and purplish grays. And the sky could be glowing. When the clouds are not too thick, you can feel the bit of warm yellow sunshine trying to push through the clouds. So yeah, cloudy days, overcast day skies are not really 100% gray. And this one, the Hawaiian colors at the Honolulu Coffee at Falls Creek. Okay, so love their fancy colors of their interior walls. They have lots of plants. They also have a little Christmas tree there against the back wall. Quite a bit of customers on that day when I was there, so it was fun to draw these people. Sketching in Fort Langley at Blacksmith's Bakery Cafe on the corner of the street. Capturing the heritage buildings outside with some customers. This is part of the inside of the cafe with some ladies having coffee and tea, exchanging gifts. And of course, my latte and pastry items shared with my mom. So I had a coffee date with my mother on December the 11th. Some more fun at-home sketches. So if you have any questions or comments, just feel free to share in the chat box. for questions, you can type in all capital letters. Okay, so I'm able to find your questions easily if you type them in all capital letters. Okay, and a really cozy nighttime cafe sketch. So I started this sketch around 2 in the afternoon because winter days are so short. As I moved on to the painting process around 3:30, it was already pretty dark outside on a rainy day. So I actually really liked this nighttime feel that I captured outside the glassy windows of the cafe. It's really abstract at nighttime. So we have a bunch of these evergreen trees and the SkyTrain station with these grayish bars of the SkyTrain station and the bridge structure right over here. And yeah, this one was a challenging one to do, but I had a lot of fun staying focused. And the baristas and people around me, they were very friendly to see me sketching this. And yeah, and then the week after was pretty busy. Wednesday, I had to teach the beginners workshop at this La Forêt cafe in Burnaby on Jubilee Avenue. And yeah, this one was done on Thursday when I had that one-on-one teaching experience with, one of my students from my online classes as well. So I met her in person for the first time last Thursday. Now we had a lovely 3 to 4 hours sketching and lunching together. And yeah, so we sketched this together, the view on our left or right side. Okay, and yeah, no more holiday sketches, just relaxing at home. And I got these cookies from my sketcher friend that I met last Thursday. So she baked these for me and also for her grandkids and other family members as well. And I got some of her nice baking stuff, like these cookies, really, really tasty. And Dudu napping on top of his cat tower last night. Yeah. And now is raining cats and dogs outside. I think it's being recorded. The sound of rain is being recorded in this live session, I guess. Yeah. Very loud tapping of rain on my windows. Okay, flipping to the next page. This one's another pretty detailed sketch at the cafe that I went to the Sunday before, which is this one, the same cafe, but sitting at a different table. You get a different perspective of the interior. This one I had a better view of the Christmas tree and the big red bowl here. Tinsels and wreaths at a closer up view. And yeah, this one another fun sketch. So each cafe sketch took me about 2.5 hours to get it done on location. So I do both the drawing and watercolors on location without using photos. This one was done on Christmas Eve on Tuesday at my neighborhood cafe, and I was super busy there. I think they got like a $4 grande drink that day on Christmas Eve. That's why a lot of people are coming in to grab their treat. And yeah, my favorite cheese Danish and a cup of latte, and trying to not make this interior too busy, but just focusing on a few characters, mostly these lovely baristas in red aprons, and just this customer coming in with this lovely green turquoise jacket matching with the apron of the guy barista here in the middle. So I love finding matching colors, keeping a good balance of shapes and colors in my sketches. Okay, and that's pretty much it. And I hope everyone can hear me pretty well. Let's check my chat box. Okay, now let's have a look. So I've done these YouTube videos, these YouTube live sessions a few times already. So I think there shouldn't be any technical issues. If you are not able to hear me or see this demonstration surface, let me know. Okay, that's great. Now I'm ready to start the demonstration. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna close this window for now, keeping myself organized with all these computer stuff. Okay. So now I'm ready to pin. This is already pinned. Remove pin. So for the demonstration, I'm going to be using this Fluid 100 series, cold pressed watercolor paper, 100% cotton, and the size is 9 inches by 12 inches. The paper weight is 140 pounds, so pretty heavy weight. And apparently this is a watercolor block. So all of these pages are glued together, nice and tight, both on top and also on the bottom of the pad. Okay, so there's glue. So each time when you finish a painting, you can use a knife to tear the sheet off. Okay, so while you're painting, because this sheet is glued to the pad, your painting will stay flat no matter how many layers of washes you're applying. So I think I'm going to use the paper this way, just so it's easier. Well, maybe this way. Okay, now let's have fun. Starting to sketch the cup of coffee and a penguin cake. So if you scroll up all the way to the top of the chat box, I shared the link in the beginning of the live session. It's like an online Dropbox folder containing 4 reference photos. So you should be able to see a photo with this penguin cookie from Starbucks, and also that festive paper cup from Starbucks as well. So we'll be sketching those 2 items first. Okay, that's great. And I recommend you to watch this live session and look at the reference photo on a separate digital tablet, like an iPad. Okay, so here are the reference photos, the first 2 that we're going to use for the next 30 minutes or so. I'll be sketching pretty fast, okay, compared to my online classes. So if you're not able to follow along, you can use the recording of this live session later to pause and follow along to finish your work. So we'll be starting to draw this lovely paper cup and the penguin cookie. So, okay, and then we'll do the cafe interior after a quick break. So the penguin cookie and the paper cup first. Okay, on the I think on the bottom right of my paper. So I'm gonna remove this for a little bit. So I'm gonna use my pencil to show you the placement of my cup of coffee. So I want to put the paper cup somewhere over here. Let's see. Okay, somewhere over here. This is a quick placement. And I want to put the piece of penguin cookie closer to the bottom right. Okay. So the reason I'm creating a trapezoid to wrap the penguin cookie is because it's a circle, right? When the circle is laying down in front of us, it looks more like a trapezoid. So this one is a perfect view of a penguin cookie wrapped up inside a perfect square. Okay, so if you stand up and put your face right on top of the cookie, you see a perfect circle. And it's wrapped up inside an invisible square bracket. And now, when you're sitting down, put the cookie in front of you, the invisible square bracket, it gets foreshortened into a trapezoid. So this is the evolution of like visual illusions. Okay, so yeah, the invisible square bracket, it gets visually distorted into a trapezoid. And so the circle inside is also being distorted into an oval or an ellipse. Okay, so it's no longer perfect circle anymore, but more kind of like ellipse. Okay, so something like this. when it's laying down. This is more like standing up straight, or if you have your face on top of that cookie, this is laying down. Okay, and the axis right over here. So this is the placement of my penguin cookie, and here's my cup of coffee. So this is a very common design of a coffee cup, and the lid area is kind of like a little white hat, right? And it's made up of two parts. So the main part of the lid is kind of like a cylinder, okay, with a kind of a ring structure denting in. So I'm also going to create a trapezoid, because I mentioned before, yeah, the top of the coffee cup lid, it is a circle. If you look at that reference photo, that circle is no longer a perfect one. It's a really skinny oval or ellipse wrapped up inside a skinny trapezoid. Okay, so something like that. And it is a very short cylinder. So these two short lines defines the height of the cylinder of the coffee cup lid. The very bottom of this beginning structure of the lid is a round curve, pretty much parallel to the bottom of the ellipse of the opening. Okay, and the rest of these horizontal lines, they're all curving. None of these are straight lines. Okay, so something like this. Same for the bottom. The very bottom of the lid is also curving. So none of these are very straight lines. And you can, if you have X-ray vision, you can envision the inside of the bottom of the lid. It's a larger circle compared to the top of the cylinder structure. Okay, and then the rest of the cup's body, I see two slanting lines going in, and then if you want to, you can create this vertical line. So the left and right side, they're in good symmetry. Okay, and I got this one. I don't think it's the biggest cup. It's like a large cup, but not the actual large one, just a regular grande cup. And it's not way too tall. I think, and somewhere over here, the bottom of this large or taller cylinder of the cup is another invisible circle, visually distorted into an oval. And then we can only see the bottom or the outside of the oval, which is nice and round, okay? Not a flat line. Should be a curve. Okay, so now ready to pencil draft the penguin cookie. The penguin cookie is actually not super foreshortened. It's quite round, close to a perfect circle. And I'm going to divide this trapezoid into two halves. The top half, because it's a little bit far away from us, is relatively smaller compared to the bottom half. Okay, so now I'm gonna just trace it out. The bottom half, it should be visually bigger compared to the top half because it's closer to us. Okay, so you can just gently trace out this oval with the concept that the back for this curve, it should be relatively slightly flatter compared to the front. Okay, yeah, so that's the idea of perspective. So perspective is in everything, not just 1 point or 2 point perspectives. It's in every shape that we see. And then we can just have fun dividing the cookie into left and right halves. And then you can just lay out the black and white areas of the penguin's face, the two little eyes, and the beak of the bird somewhere over here. And yeah, because it's winter time, the penguin is wearing these ear coverings, right? Not headphones. I don't think these are headphones, but those warm ear coverings that we wear in very cold winter days. Okay, And this cookie apparently is a super flattened or pressed cylinder that you can see is very similar to the top of the coffee cup's lid, okay, but even flatter. That you can tell the sense of thickness. So I'll just do one extra curve over here, dividing the white icing and the yellow cookie area. Okay, so there's two very vague lines around the bottom right of the cookie, dividing the icing and the actual cookie area. Okay, so now I'm gonna check my chat box. Also gonna move things around and lower my tripod so you can see this even better. Yeah, a little closer. Now I'm gonna grab my Sailor's Fude fountain pen and start fine lining. So for the patterns on the coffee paper cup, I don't need to stress on it because it's just we're just gonna have fun doodling these rings out on the outside of the paper cup. It's gonna be fun. And I'm gonna switch to the reference photo of the coffee cup again and start fine lining it with my Sailor's Fude fountain pen with a 55-degree bent nib. Okay, so I'm gonna start to draw. So I'm not gonna tell you my actual process when I'm improvising on location without using a pencil draft. Okay, so when I'm doing these food sketches on location, I don't do a pencil draft first. So I'm doing this in a live session just to make sure your understandings are clear of what I'm really seeing of the 3D world instead of just lines and shapes. There's always like a 3D conceptual understanding for all artists. That's why they can draw very accurately and convincingly. Okay? All right, so now I'm gonna start with this relatively flatter semicircle of the coffee cup's lids. So this one, okay, right over here, this is a very flattened circle. And I'm gonna get this structure bulging out, defining the height using these two pretty short lines. And these are straight lines. Okay, and I'm gonna define the base of this cylinder structure. It's nice and round, not a flat line. All of these, again, as I mentioned before, all of these horizontal lines on a cylinder, they are curving, okay? None of them are straight lines. And the next one, yeah, pretty much a parallel curve. And then this one is kind of like a ring structure. And I'm gonna keep going. The last shape, it's kind of like a little roof structure. And then, so two lines to define the short height. And this curve to define the cylinder. Okay? Again, this is a very common coffee cup structure. Now I'm starting to add these inner details. There's a ring. So noticing that when I'm drawing the back of the ring, it's very skinny because it's being foreshortened. Now, as I'm moving on to the front of the ring, it looks thicker. Again, this is a visual illusion. So this whole ring, the width is exactly the same, okay, from top to bottom, left and right. It's because this half in the back is more far away from us. It's being just visually foreshortened into a more skinny stripe compared to the front. Okay, and the sipping area, I'm gonna just draw a little hole here. This part is denting in, defined by this inner curve. Okay, so now we're creating an illusion that this part is really going down in the middle. And with the help of watercolor painting, we'll shade this white structure. Okay, so now ready to draw the body part of the paper cup. Okay, so 2 slanting lines until you feel, yeah, the height of your paper cup is defined. The very bottom, it should be the bottom half of this pretty much invisible circle. Nice and round. Okay, so this is like a prototype of any paper cup. Now I'm ready to doodle the pattern, starting with the logo of Starbucks. So noticing the logo is no longer a perfect circle because it's landing on a round surface of a cylinder. And I feel, yeah, it's a really kind of a wonky shape with the logo of the Starbucks coffee. The top is bigger. The bottom, yeah, it's kind of shrinking in a bit. Yeah, because of the curve of our cylinder structure. It could be any wonky shape that you came up with. No worries. Just have fun drawing. And I'm going to start to doodle the crown for this double-tailed mermaid. So I don't know the name of this goddess on Starbucks. I think it's called Siren. I'm not 100% sure. I think her name is Siren. Yeah, just let me know if you know this goddess name for Starbucks logo. Okay, so I'm gonna get her hair in. Yeah, and layers of wavy lines. Wait, another layer. And her face. I think we're all gonna come up with different drawings of this logo with our own personalities and expressions. Just give her a little smile. And I'm gonna just put her tails on the left and on the right. Okay, it could be like your own interpretation of these shapes done very quickly. This is my interpretation of the Starbucks logo. Okay, and I'm gonna accentuate a little bit on this trench area. Yeah, this part is very much like a trench. Going down with a sense of shadow. Now I'm ready to draw these decorative rings around the logo starting from here, which is very much like a rainbow. Yeah. Was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 rings. 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another one on this right. And there's another one on top of it in mirror image. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so after drawing the logo, you can connect these rings around it. So now I'm ready to draw this one on this upper left, starting with this half circle. This one's being a little bit foreshortened into a smaller half circle because it's bending away from us. This one, okay? So a lot of distorted shapes on a cylinder surface. And it's fun. Wonky is good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And these ones, a little bit smaller. Again, this foreshortening. The idea of foreshortening is everywhere. Now I'm going to do these rings on the bottom. 5 or 6. Okay, so this circle is cut in half this way. Again, all horizontal lines on a cylinder, they're curving. Okay, so this part's something like this. 2, 5. About 5 or 6 rings should be fine. And then these ones, it looks smaller because it's way down there compared to the ones facing us. Yeah, again, all of these horizontal lines, they're curving. Vertical lines, no, they're not curving. They're straight. Okay, I'm gonna doodle these in. I think, yeah, I got pretty much all of these rings. So one more here. Make them a little bit bigger here in the middle. Okay, so just have fun. Again, these two should be kind of touching, but that's okay. I always make these like small mistakes, and they're not mistakes. Okay, so as long as your 3D structure is making sense, all of the little smaller surface details, if they're not that accurate, it's okay. As long as your overall 3D structure is correct, everything else should look fine. Yeah, with reasoning. Now, ready to move on to drawing the little penguin cookie. It smells really good. Yeah, really creamy of vanilla and white cream. There's a lot of butter in it. Okay, so I'm going to start to draw the top half first, which is a slightly flatter semicircle compared to the bottom. So just try to feel it. And then the bottom half, relatively rounder. Okay, so this is the contour outline of the cookie. And again, yeah, happy holidays, and thank you so much for everyone joining the live session. I know it's Boxing Day, so a lot of people are busy shopping online or go visit those stores in person to grab your favorite stuff. All right? Okay. Thank you so much for making the time to join the live session. Okay, and now my next step is to define the thickness of the cookie by drawing this curve closer to the bottom. It's very much like a skinny crescent. And the line is very vague. It has a soft edge. So something like this. To define the thickness of a cookie, the same structure as coins. Okay, and now I'm ready to separate the icing area with the cookie somewhere over here. Okay, just a smaller ellipse covering the top of the cookie. And then I'm ready to draw the purple ear coverings, starting with a circle and this semicircle and right over here. Okay. And then the face of the penguin, the white and black areas, division line, and the two black eyes, the beak, and the orange triangle. Okay, so pretty simple geometric shapes that we have here. And if you want to, you can color in the eyes. They're black anyway with solid or solid black or solid brown ink. I'm gonna leave the middle part shining white, just so it looks more lively. Yeah, so if you zoom in the reference photo a little bit, you're gonna notice the middle of these two, both of these two eyes are shiny. Okay, and now I'm also gonna suggest the thickness of the icing, the white icing. Okay, so something like this. So everything is actually has a 3 dimension in the world. Even this seemingly flat cookie, I'm gonna accentuate on the bottom, so it has more weight. And I'm gonna refresh the YouTube window a little bit so I can see the most updated comments. Hey, great. No questions and no special comments. Okay, it's great. Now, ready to paint watercolors? So I'm going to erase these pencil lines first. Yeah, again, this is a very good eraser from Staedtler. And can erase very heavy pencil lines. This large yellow eraser from Staedtler. Okay, powerful erasing. Okay, now let's just dump the eraser dust. Okay, cool. Now the painting is coming back to the screen. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab my Mongyo brand watercolors and the towel. Yeah, so as usual, I'll be using my Mongyo watercolors containing 24 colors. I'll move this around. Okay, so I'll be mainly mixing in this area so you can see it here on Zoom. I'm going to be using these two water brushes. So I'm going to start with my large tip Holbein water brush. And I want to start to paint the cookie first. Okay, so if you observe very carefully, the creamy area of the icing is not really paper white, right? Because it contains like cream and butter. So milk, butter, and cheese, they're not paper white. They have a very mild tint of yellow in it. So I'm gonna just start the very first layer of mostly the icing, yeah. Just by wetting it with a little clear water first, and then grabbing some yellow ochre. Okay, dilute it with a lot of water. And just do this quick wash over the icing area. The same idea every time you're painting like whipped cream, butter, and cheese. Yeah, just be mindful. They're not paper white areas. So glade this with very mild yellow ochre, super diluted. And I'm going to continue to use yellow ochre, not as diluted as the icing area for the actual cookie part. Okay, so that's the first layer. I'm also going to have a bit of yellow for this black colored icing area. I'm going to let it dry, okay, before moving on to the next part, adding the black and the orange and purple and more intense, let's see, yellow brown for the cookie. That's for later. So the key about watercolor painting is to wait for your previous layer to dry before moving on to the next layer. Okay, so now ready to paint the red paper cup. I think I'm going to switch to my other water brush, which is really great for, skipping around these small areas. This is from Faber-Castell. Yeah, from Faber-Castell. So even though the brush bristle is very large, it's able to do small renderings and going around these small areas very precisely compared to the large Holbein. So let's just have fun grabbing a pure red or magenta color. from the palette. So I'm gonna grab this permanent red. And yeah, we can just do a simple flat wash around these rings. The negative space wrapping around these rings. So you can use your medium or small brush or water brush to do the work. And don't forget to reload your brush with more pure paint. Otherwise, your water brush is diluting the red into a pinkish tone. Okay, so this is very satisfying to do. So just cover all of these negative spaces around the rings with a pure red. Okay, I'm also going to keep using the same red for some of the red ringed areas. Quite a lot. For example, here and here. It's not exactly the same as the paper cup design. Yeah, just try to get the essence. Yeah, this part is red. Same for here. Yeah, this part obviously is a red half ring. So one more red ring over here. So now I'm gonna clean my brush and grab a pink color. It could be permanent rose. There are some pink rings. You can also dilute red with a lot of water in the watercolor world, so you can get like a pink tone by diluting red with a lot of water. Yeah, same for here. Okay, so now I'm gonna clean my brush and get these green rings in. So I'm just gonna simply use lime green. Maybe mix a tiny bit of cerulean blue into it. It's kind of turquoise green. For here, and yeah, red and green, they're like complementary colors on the color wheel. And when they're side by side, you're gonna have very strong contrast in your artworks. Okay, one more green ring here. Yeah, just have fun filling these parts in with color. And I'm gonna clean my brush and start to fill some of the spaces that I didn't fill. There's some white rings that need to be just left out paper white for now. Okay, so this part is white. This is white as well. Okay. Now I'm ready to clean my brush, and you can use any dark shade of green to paint the Starbucks logo. I'm gonna use this like Viridian green. And just paint these little negative spaces around the white shape of the double-tailed mermaid. Yeah, and her arms, I think I forgot to draw the arm. That's okay. I'm just gonna leave it paper white and draw with my brush marks. Okay, so we can get this done very quickly. Just pretty simple and fun coloring. Now I'm gonna do something special. It's very hard to tell the light and shaded area of this red paper cup, right? But you can make it up. I think the windows are on the right, so the left side could be a little bit more shaded in red purple. So I'm still gonna grab permanent red that I used for the base color of the cup. And then grabbing some permanent violet or purple. And starting to shade the very left side a little bit with red purple. Clean my brush and just rub this and drag it over to the middle and right so it's fading out. Okay, so the very left side of the paper cup is a little shaded. Compared to the rest, in a very subtle way, not super obvious. And I'm going to switch to the other reference photo. I want to paint these vibrant colors first before shading everything else with grays. So I'm going to grab orange for the penguin's beak. Okay, so leaving a bit of shine over here for highlights. It's glossy, creamy icing. It shines a bit. I'm going to clean my brush and grab some permanent violet. Mix it with a bit of pink. Again, I see the upper right shines a bit. By cleaning my water brush on the towel and just drag it over. So it's a slightly lighter value of purple. Okay, so I see this area, the bottom is more shaded. So pretty heavy, concentrated pink purple. Clean my brush on the towel a little bit. So just using the diluted version for the upper half. So when we're painting, just like when we're drawing, we're always thinking. So these are not flat areas. It's bulging. And it shines on the upper half. I think the left side is more shaded than the right. So another layer of more concentrated purple. I also want to do the black area of the penguin's head. So starting with I think a very dark brown. You can use Payne's gray if you want to. So this one is like a dark sepia. Now I'm going to start, I think I'm going to use my large tip water brush. So this is the first layer. So if you look at the black area of the penguin's head, it's not absolute black silhouette. So part of it shines in a lighter value of, let's see, gray. But I see the gray, it could be brownish. Like a more lightly kind of tone. So I'm going to start with this light tone, let it dry, and put on the most intense gray or black in the next layer. I also want to shade the cookie area with a bit of like orangey brown tone by mixing orange and a little bit of burnt sienna or brown together. Dilute it with a bit of water. So it's a very mild tone of orange brown. Okay, so this is like a typical butter cookies color tones. Okay, so I'm gonna have a bit more heavy orange brown tones on the left. There's also a bit of shadow from the icing landing on the cookie right over here. All right, so there's a slight bit of value transition going on with this ring area of the cookie showing below the icing. And now I'm gonna paint this pretty much a black area. You could use pure black. And I want to mix it with raw umber or this dark brown. And the very left is the most intense tone. I'm going to start here first. This part is starting to shine a bit. So I'm going to clean my brush on the towel. This is wet into moist. So the previous layer of brownish gray is not completely dried. So you can see it's, my brush mark in this layer is fading off. So yeah, I'm going to paint the right side. The middle is it shines a bit. And then the right side is not super dark at the left. So I'm going to intensify the very left with just like pure black. Okay, all right. So I'm going to let it dry first. And now it's time to paint these gray areas on the coffee cup lid. Okay, so most of the top is kind of a light to medium gray. So I like to mix my own lively gray by mixing cobalt blue with permanent violet. So something like this. So cobalt blue with permanent violet, you get a really sensational blue purplish gray. Okay, instead of using water with black, I like to use this recipe. I'm going to start to shape this ring area a little bit lightly. Yeah, the inside, this plateau area is light gray. Left and right, the middle, I want it to shine. Okay, so I'm leaving the middle of this, the front area. So it really is like a 3D bulging structure of a cylinder. Yeah, I'm gonna shade a little bit of these white areas with light gray, very, very light gray. Again, the left side is a little bit more far away from the window. Slightly heavier. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it as it is. There's no heavy shade on the white coffee cup lid. Okay, so now I think I'm ready to paint a little platform for these two thingies, tying them together before painting their shadows. It's gonna be rectangular, and it could be any color that you want it to be. It could be, let's see, what about orange? A happy color. Yeah, so I'm painting this orange or yellow-orange platform to tie the coffee cup and the cookie together. So they're in the same world. Okay, and just keep reloading my brush. So the orange and the cookie color is actually analogous colors. They're not matching colors, and they're okay side by side. Okay, and just finishing the little platform banner here on the right. Okay, so now it looks happier with the help of the background color. I'm gonna wait for that to dry before painting the shadows. Now I'm gonna switch back to the cookie reference photo. I'm gonna use some pure burnt sienna and yellow orange. Yeah, to shade the left side of the cookie, getting less daylight. As you can see, the right side is way brighter, like a whitish, muted yellow. But the left side is shaded with, a bit of brown tones. Okay, so I'm gonna do the little shadows later. The shadows are very small. Yeah, let's wait for the platform to dry. Now, let's go back to the YouTube window, refresh it. And there's almost 50 people watching now. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I'm so glad you're able to join this live session on Boxing Day. I know it's shopping day and also gathering time with family and friends. So feel free to drop in a comment if you want to. You can comment on where you're from. I saw somebody's comment that they're joining from Malaysia, which is in Asia, very late at night. And there's Elisa Saucer. Yeah, well, Sour, sorry. Sour, Elisa Sour. So welcome to the live session. So I'll be right back. I'm just gonna grab my tea and come back to do the shadows, okay? And there's is S. Caris from Richmond, California, and Elisa Sauer from Colorado, USA, and Lara from Montreal. Yeah. So my friend and also classmate from grad school. Yeah, Lou or Lara, right there. And so Joe Fritsch from Wisconsin, USA. Welcome. Yeah, it's a lot of people from America. Nice. Okay. So now I'm gonna keep doing the shadow. I think my background's all dry because I lay down the wash very thinly, so it dries in like 3 minutes. If you have a big pool of water or mixed with paint, it's gonna take you like 20 minutes to dry. So really depending on how you're laying out the paint. If you lay it nice and flat, it dries in like 3 minutes. Okay, so now I'm gonna continue with my shadows. There's barely any shadow from the paper cup because I took it on location and there was like lights and windows on all sides. So I'm just gonna give it a very low shadow here on the bottom, on the front, using my universal shadow color, cobalt blue, and permanent violet. Maybe it was a bit of leftover green to mute it down. Yeah, we'll start with this pretty light bluish gray, and it's glazed over the background, nice and gentle. You can make your shadow just as simple as this, okay? So your cup is really landing on something. There we go, slightly stronger intensity kissing the bottom edge. Okay, the shadow could be this simple. If you don't see a shadow when the light source is coming from all directions, there's no shadow. Now for the cookie, the window is actually behind the cookie, so that's why the shadow is obviously in the front. And I took this this morning, just a few minutes before the start of the live session, right here at this table. Let's start with this very light bluish gray, and it's right here in the front. Okay, a gentle little ring. It doesn't have to be as heavy as it seems in the reference photo, okay? Really depending on your taste. Your shadow could be fairly light. Now, some more cobalt blue and permanent violet. I want it to be heavier, right kissing the bottom edge. Okay, so there's a slight bit of value transition on the shadow. Yeah, same for here. For the coffee cup, okay? So that's our pretty simple, fun sketches of cup of coffee and the cookie. Now I'm gonna remove my watercolors around. I'm gonna move the paper around a little bit as well. So okay, so I'm gonna do that little cafe interior sketch somewhere on your paper. Could be overlapped behind your coffee and the penguin cookie. So we got these two reference photos, right? So we'll be using this one showing the lady barista in this reindeer headwear. Okay, it was pretty hard to take a photo of her because she was moving around. Her head was kind of obstructed by everything in front of her. So just a quick little moment that I captured her face and that reindeer headwear. We'll be mainly using this photo with the lady and the little girl. So she's like a little model. Oh my, she's like super adorable with these little boots and her outfit, her blonde hair, very pretty little girl. And yeah, this is actually not her mother because, I just get to know it from their conversations. She was saying, I'm going to take a photo for your mommy and daddy to the little girl. So she's not her mother. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be sketching these two ladies and just a simple counter area with the barista in the reindeer headwear. Okay. So I want to simplify this clutters. These clutters, I know we have a lot of clutters over here. I want to simplify them into abstract, swift, doodly shapes. Okay, so there's no need to be perfect with these cluttered areas. Even for these people, if I'm on location, I probably need to finish drawing them in like 2 to 3 minutes in very quick lines. I'm gonna show you how I do it with like pencil layout. So yeah, so you can get my conceptual understanding of this little situation. It could be anywhere. Yeah. Okay. So now I think I'm gonna put the ladies over here, but there's a lot of space on the left side of my paper. The biggest and the tallest thing is the lady, the caregiver. Okay, of the little girl of the day, and I want the top of her ponytail to be somewhere over here. Okay, and the bottom of her shoes to be maybe over here. Okay, and now let's count the units of heads of her body. So all humans are very similar. So here's one head, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 to 7 units. Okay, for the whole body from head to toe. 6 or 7 units for some very tall people. I think this one I see 6 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.5 is fine. Okay. So if it's less than 6 units, that person looks way too short. I'm gonna do the kid's body proportion a little bit later. Okay, so you can have 6.5 units for this lady. Okay, and the units I like to measure it in head sizes. So I'm gonna have, let's see, one. I'm gonna divide into half first. And within the two halves, I'm gonna have 3 smaller units each. So I have 6 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 head units. Okay, for an average person, 6 head units in total. Head takes 1. Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna measure the girl. I feel like the girl is exactly half of her height. She's like 4 or 5 years old, so pretty young. So about half of her height, maybe a little bit taller if you want to. Yeah, a little bit taller. I think a little slightly taller than half of the caregiver's height. The bottom of her shoes, pretty much on the same level of the caregiver. And now I'm gonna measure the proportion of her body. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 or 5. Okay, for kids. Okay, depending on the age. I think for babies it could be like 4 units, 3.5 units. For this slightly older kids, like 5-year-old, 4 or 5-year-olds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 units. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 to 4.5 units. That's fine. Here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have 6 units for the caregiver. Okay, because it's an adult. Adult and kids body proportions, they're different. Kids, they have bigger heads compared to adults. Okay, so that's their body proportion. That's the most important thing that you need to know when you're sketching people. Okay, so their body is going to be over here on the left side of my paper. Now, I want to find the relationships between their bodies and the counter edge. Okay. Oh, okay. So we can just eyeball it. The left side of the counter edge is pretty much aligning with the eyes of the little girl. So somewhere over here. The little girl's eyes are probably over here, right? Using our imagination. And the counter top is a large rectangular prism. It's tilting because we're looking at it from the angle. Okay. And the bottom of the counter here is higher than their shoes. Okay, and there's something special about perspective. So the counter is visually seems shorter over here on this left end because it's more far away from us. This end is closer to us, so it seems taller. Okay, I'm gonna have like an arrow over here. It seems taller here compared to here. So again, it's like just a visual illusion. It's expanding from left to right. And it's a rectangular, giant rectangular prism. This is the corner, and it's bending upwards to the right. Okay, rectangular prism. Vertical lines are very straightforward. And the counter, this end is mostly obstructed by the little shelves of gift cards and other packaged sweets. Okay, so this is the structure of the counter. It looks somewhat like this, conceptually. Okay, and I'm gonna put the barista somewhere over here. The head and the apron area is roughly over here. Reindeer's headwear somewhere there. Okay, and these two adults, they're pretty much on the same level with the top of their heads. And then when I have like a really relaxing approach getting these little gift card shelves in. So yeah, just when I see a triangle, kind of like a triangular prism, a little bit like this, is slanting, kind of like an easel with all the gift cards and granola bars laying on it. Okay, and these screens for ordering, receiving orders, and yeah, another screen over here in between the barista girl. Now we can zoom in a little bit. This is for tapping, bank card tapping area. The lady's arm is probably going to be over here. Okay, so I see these. I see a screen over here, another screen, the little shelf holding the gift cards and granola bars. Okay, and we can also suggest the bakery shelf over here. There's something about perspective. It's going down from right to left. So that's why the bakery shelf, it looks so small here on the left end. And this part, yeah, it's covered up by the caregiver's body. This part is the top of the girl's head. Okay, perspective. Okay, so everything is shrinking from right to left. And then we can just have fun getting these borders in and the shelf 2 layers, yeah, of pastries in here. We'll just keep the shapes very doodly. Okay, division. The black and the wooden area, black base area and yellow brown wooden area. Move things around. Okay, so everything else is optional in this sketch. You don't have to sketch the shelf or the person's workstation behind. It's optional. Okay, so let's just focus on this counter area. And we also have people like Annika from Germany. And let's see, another follower here from, let's see, I think there's a question. Under what situation will shadows change colors? Under what situation would shadow change colors? It depends. I think if for the shadows of indoor lighting and also the shadows from sunlight could be different. Okay, but overall, I like to keep it really, really simple, like using a universal blue or purple as shadow for like everything. There's no need to stress on accuracy. You can just follow your sensations about how you feel, what colors you want to use as an artist. It doesn't have to be like physically or scientifically accurate as what's really out there. Okay, yeah. So there's no right or wrong when you're drawing or painting as an artist. You have the freedom to make choices of what colors you use. It doesn't have to be like photorealistic or scientifically accurate. Okay, so now let's buffer for like a few seconds. And Sharon is commenting, I've always had trouble drawing people proportion until I saw somebody start not with the head but with the torso. Make more sense to me to start with a bigger shape. Maybe after I have drawn 1,000 people, I'll be able to start at the top too. Yeah, it really depends. I think everybody draws people in different ways. And most people I know, I think they do start from drawing like the head first. Yeah. So it's kind of a little bit odd to me that somebody is starting to draw from the body first. It really depends on the position of that person. Most people I know, they feel more convenient drawing the head first. With a clear sense of how high the overall body should be before they start drawing the head. Okay, so you can start with like a quick pencil draft of these 6 units, 6 or 7 units for the adult. Okay, yeah, and then you can start with the head. And now let's get started. We still have like almost 50 people watching. That's great. Thank you so much for joining. More people joined us, I think after the first hour or so. Now I'm ready to start drawing the caregiver lady in the blue jacket, and the sun was like streaming down right onto her back. Let's start from here. Okay, let's start with her large ponytail, which should be a little taller than her head. Okay, you see the ponytail, and it's loosely tied up together. And the long ponytail is a little bit longer than the size of her head. Yeah, obviously. Loosely draping down. Yeah, trying to suggest a strand of hair. Now, ready to trace out the front of her head with more hair and a bit of the ear showing the earlobe. Her head is looking down onto the tapping machine. Okay, so this is going down a little bit. Forehead, the dent of the eye socket. The nose is probably over here, but it's covered up by her shoulder, which is make it easier, yeah, for us to draw. Let's suggest a bit of eyelashes, eyebrow, right over here. And I want to just color in her hair with solid brown ink. This part of her hair is dark. Same for here. I think she's dark haired and she just dyed her hair blonde. Yeah, I'm gonna color her hair area. For dark hair people, you can feel free to color those shapes in with solid black or brown ink. For here, I'm gonna just shade it very loosely. Okay, and the I think winter jackets are really fun to draw. So after that, we have this large hood area. Yeah, depending on the model of that jacket, the hood could be smaller or a little bit bigger, very puffy. It's kind of like a triangle for the hood. And then the jacket is wrapping around her body. Here's the waist area, is denting in, right? For all humans, it's not a straight, absolute straight line going down. Here is denting for the waist area, the hip area, and then we get the hip area, right? Coming out again. Okay? That's how the human spine is like laid out. It's not perfectly straight. Okay. So now I'm gonna stop the jacket somewhere over here. Okay. And then I'm ready to get her arm gesture in. I want to insert her lovely leather purse. The straps. It's like a messenger bag. And it's kind of like a rectangular prism shape. Okay, the zippers, stitching lines. So my lines are almost like pretty much continuous, not lifting from the paper. So the speed is up. Her elbow is somewhere over here. The forearm is visually very short because it's bent at an angle. Her thumb, pointer, the other fingers are like on the other side. Okay, hard to see. So she's holding her bank card or something. Yeah. The bottom of the jacket is a lining with the bottom of her messenger bag. Stitching lines. Again, all of these horizontal lines are curving. The human body is the torso is a cylinder. I'm also going to suggest some wrinkles, which are pretty obvious, with the help of the sunlight and shadows. And we can see a little bit of her upper arm on the other side. Right? Somewhere over here. And then I'm ready to get her legs in, which is the easiest part to draw. This one, yeah, the legs are overlapping a little bit. Here, the leg on the right is closer to us. So the end of it seems longer. She's wearing nice jeans. This leg here on the left, the end of it is higher on paper. Yeah, because it's a little bit more far away from us. It's getting foreshortened. Yeah. I'm gonna get her shoes in, I think leather shoes, matching the color of her messenger bag. Yeah, brown leather shoes, and this one we can only see the sole of the shoe. Okay, I'm gonna give her a bit more hair here all around the neck area. Okay, so now ready to get the little girl in, right behind her. Okay, so with the pencil draft, I know that her height starts over here. I'm gonna start with her lovely hair. Coming down. Okay, pretty nice long blonde hair. I'm suggesting the loose strands pretty quickly. And I'm gonna get her forehead in, the little nose, smile, lower lip, and the chin. I'm gonna keep her eye really simple. Just a little dot is fine. Okay, yeah, just a little dot. So from some extremely profile views, it's maybe hard to see their eyes, especially when they're moving around. Yeah, just a little dot is fine. And then we'll get her little green jacket in. Okay, so about half of the rest of her body. And it's kind of like a trapezoid shape. The bottom is wider, yeah, for most jackets. Let her get her little sleeve in, the little fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4. The thumb, sometimes we can't see. Yeah. A lot of time we can't see the thumb of that person because it's tucked with the palm area inside. Yeah, the bottom is a curve. Okay, so all human bodies are cylinders. And then I'm gonna get her little leg in. Okay, so she's a little bit taller than my pencil draft for 4.5 units. And the fluffy boots. Okay, I'm gonna get the other leg behind the in, the fluffy area of the boot. I'm gonna zoom in to see the shoelaces a little bit better. And the sole is pretty thick. Shoelaces and the sole for this one. Okay, so now she's really behind her, waiting for her treat. And the stitches of her little black pants. Some more suggestion of her round body. Okay, so that's these two ladies. The human body is always the most time consuming part, could be for most people. And yeah, you're welcome. I see Thomas, and there's also Esteris. Your perception of space is so amazing. I'm learning by observing your live process. I have one of those pens too. I get ink all over my fingers. How do you avoid that while drawing? So because most people are right-handed, right, in the world. Lefties are rare, but yeah, okay. So most people are right-handed people, and so I like to start drawing from left to right first. Okay, for right-handed people, draw from left to right, so you will never smudge. If you draw from right to left, you will smudge. So think about like the steps, the direction of drawing. If you want to avoid smudging, you can get a clean sheet of white paper, just cover it. Okay, if your hand is about to go on top of the lines or if you already drew, just get like a clean sheet of paper, cover the part that you drew, so your hand can just go on top of the clean paper without smudging. So most of the time I don't need a sheet of paper to cover my drawn area, so just draw from left to right. Okay, and yeah, okay. So now I'm gonna check my recording here. Time is going by so fast, and I started late with the live session today because of a bit of technical issue. Okay, now let's have fun getting the perspective of the counter area in front of these people. I think I'm gonna start from here, the very left of the counter edge, and expanding towards the right. Okay, so look a little bit thicker here on this end, on the right compared to on the left. Same for here. It looks pretty thin here on this end compared to this end, closer to us. Expanding from left to right. Because the perspective, the corner is actually not aligning on the same level at the counter edge. This is going upwards. Okay, so that's the structure of the counter area. Now I'm gonna get the black base in. Same idea. Going down to the right. And then going upwards towards the right. I think there's no black area, just leg, metallic leg over here. This part is actually hollowed. On the right side of the counter. Okay, now I think I'm ready to switch to the other reference photo with the barista wearing the reindeer headwear over here. She's actually a little shorter, yeah. Well, she's young, probably like a teenager in high school. Okay, I think she is. I want to put her a little bit shorter compared to this lady, yeah. She's almost as tall as this screen here on the left in comparison. So I'm always comparing. Yeah, so she's over here. I'm going to start with her round cranium area, the headwear. The band is brown. Let's zoom in a little bit. The reindeer's antler. So in symmetry, little bells. Okay, so I'm gonna get a bit of her hair in underneath the band. The ear. And her face, she's having a nice ponytail right here. Yeah, a nice ponytail. Eyebrows pretty high on the head. The eyes. So usually I don't draw the bottom of the eyes. Okay, so the eyeballs are really moving in a flexible way. Nose. We're gonna give her a smile. Serving these people. Okay, might be tricky to get the mouth in, but you can just give these people a simple smile. Okay, and I'm ready to get her neck in. I want to include the red apron. And her arm tapping on the screen. I'm going to do that later. I'm going to finish her arm later when I get all of these clutters in. Apron. This is her sweater. It's brown. Now, ready to get the tapping machine right underneath the customer's arm, right here. Okay, so now I'm gonna just maybe speed up a little bit. So these other thingies around these people, they're not so important. You want to keep these shapes in very simplified geometric shapes. Starting with this screen that the girl is tapping on, it had a sense of thickness. It's tilted at an angle facing the barista. There's a little arm right over here and wires. Almost not lifting my pen. Yeah, so she's somewhat tapping on that screen using these loose jumbles of lines. Now I want to finish this side. There is another tablet and the scanning machine over here. There's a lot of fun things to see. They have a lot of digital stuff these days at most cafes. Okay, so don't worry too much about accuracy now. Just getting these abstract shapes that you see on the countertop. And then I'm ready to get this fun little shelf holding the gift cards. Most of these are says happy birthday. Okay, birthday gift cards. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 3 piles. On this layer, 1 pile. 1, 2, 3. I think they're all tilting pretty much parallel to the counter edge. Okay, going down a little bit to the right. Granola bars. Rice Krispies. Yeah, just in these simple rectangles. Don't worry about overlapping lines as well. Let's get these shapes in. This one is kind of like a prism. So this bottom line is actually going upwards to the right sharply. This is parallel to the counter edge right below it. Okay, so let me just sort this area. 1, 2, 3. There's one more. Yeah, one more little package that I want to have. Okay, granola bars. I want to suggest there are these little slabs of rectangular prisms. Some more cards and okay, so these are the loose shape that I see. It's somewhat like a very quick impression that you don't need to take way too long to figure out the exact accuracy. Okay, just a quick impression. It's not 100% accurate, but you don't want to spend way too much time on it, right? My point about sketching is to capture the essence within a pretty short amount of time instead of stretching on the accuracy. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to the main reference photo and get this part in. There's a little platform holding some paper trays, ceramic cups, and another screen. So this one is, I believe, is close to a horizontal line, not tilting too much. Thickness of the screen. Small details in lines. Okay, now finish the edge of the counter over here. So when I was there on Christmas Eve, there was like tons of paper cups. So this whole counter was full for like about 20 minutes at the moment, around 12, around noon, lunchtime. Lots of orders, and these baristas were not overwhelmed. They stayed very happy. So lots of workload for baristas at peak hours around lunchtime, especially on a holiday like this when everybody is having a vacation. They treat themselves. Now I'm going to cover this art with a bit of shading, the metallic bands. Okay, so now for our reference photo here, this is mostly clean. There's only like a vacant paper tray here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it clean here. And now I'm going to do the bakery shelf. So this part I drew that many minutes ago, so it's already dried. So I don't need to worry about my hand covering this part and smudge it. So it's safe. And I get this foreshortened little shape in. Yeah, there's a little fridge holding some cold iced drinks. This part of the prism of the fridge is shaded, so I'm going to use solid brown ink. Okay, this part, dividing it into the storage area and the machine area below. And I'm going to just doodle these bottles in. Yeah, in loose shapes. Milk, coconut water, those kind of stuff. Yeah, some quick small details. And then I'm going to have fun getting, there's a bunch of signs for all of these food, bakery items. So these are like loaves. These are like croissants. I see a chocolate croissant, Danish, and a muffin. Yeah, just into these quick chunks of shapes. And yeah, there are sticks holding up these signs. And the frame of the little display shelf. The other side. Okay, coming down the black frame on the other side through the transparent glass. And I also want to color this part in, which is really heavily shaded using solid brown ink, the inside of the fridge. Okay, so there's more contrast in the drawing. And then I'm gonna just finish up the lady barista. The back end of the table is over here. Oh, sorry, the counter. We can't see the rest of her body anymore, so it's easy to draw the barista. Her face is pretty much the same size as this lady's. Okay, and yeah, I'm gonna divide this into two wooden planks. Nails. All right, and for the other details, we can keep it really blurred out. I know that these are nice signs, and they're matching colors with the red cup. Again, it's optional. I think it's aligning right on top of the display of the pastries. I'm gonna keep the shapes really loose. Yeah, just 3 rectangles. Okay, really loose, and then frames. And you can draw the graphics on these signs. It says, "Oh, what yum." So really fun advertising words. Merrier. Okay. And Frappuccino. And these prints are very small, so we're just going to use these quick lines to get the menu done. So a lot of whipped cream on their advertising signs, but when you actually get those drinks, the whipped cream may not be that big. Yeah. Okay, there might be a little muffin over here. Okay, so just keep this. This is optional, but if you want to add it, it's so fun to draw. And in connection, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple this way. I know there's a shelf with their coffee beans on it. Let's keep it simple this way. Let's check the time. Okay. So really depending on your time and your personal choice, don't have to draw all of the details in the back. Okay. Yeah, so for this live session, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple. If I'm teaching the class, I might draw a bit more when I have more time. So yeah, this is just a nice essence of a cafe visit. I'm gonna start to erase these pencil lines. And Amy saying, Amy from Ireland. Yes, I remember Amy. Glad to have you here as well. Ellen from Virginia in the USA. And we'll have people from North Carolina. Great. Welcome, everyone. Yeah. So I'll be right back after about a minute. Okay. And I'm gonna paint this in about a minute. And someone is asking how's Dudu. Dudu is doing pretty well. Yeah. Thank you for asking. He's very happy. He's lively, very lively. Back to his normal self after all the surgeries. He's able to run and hop and jump as usual. But he still need time to recover his pee functioning. He's not able to pee by himself, so we need to press his bladder every day 2 times to release the urine. Other than that, he's doing fine. Okay, now ready to start painting. Oh, before that, I need to refill my water brushes quickly with some clear water. Okay, so I'm gonna start with like an overall underpainting for this cafe sketch. It's gonna be the usual mellow yellow. Okay, let's just erase this a little bit more. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure my palette is inside the screen. Okay, so here we go. So I'm gonna start to paint the first layer. It's gonna be the underpainting. Yeah, including the floor area as well. So this whole area. And for this white space, I'm gonna just write down happy holidays and a little note. Okay, so when you're sketching, you don't have to fill up your entire paper with lines and colors. You can leave some blank areas for writing captions and a little note, a little diary of your day. And okay, I'm just gonna wet the whole areas with clear water. And the whole area is gonna have this mellow yellow ochre glow. It could be a little bit more diluted as you like. I think for the counter area is heavier because the wood color already contains a very high ratio of yellow ochre. Okay, again, this first step of painting the cafe interior is pretty easy and fun. You want to tie everything together with this warm yellow glow that is super inviting. Yeah, same for the back wall. It's illuminated by lots of lamps from the ceilings. And there's Effie from Malaysia. Yes, welcome. Yeah, remember your comment from the community post. Okay, so let's start with this mellow yellow ochre, yeah, to illuminate everything for this little cafe corner. Again, for all levels, it doesn't have to be for beginners. Depending on how much time and how much you want to draw, you don't have to sketch the whole cafe interior. You can just focus on the most interesting area, okay? Yeah, could be just a couple persons sitting at a table or this counter area of the barista serving somebody. Just keep it very simple. Doesn't have to be always the whole cafe interior with everybody in it. Okay, let's start. This was yellow glow. It's easier to proceed to the next step. Okay, it already looks like it's somewhat finished. Okay, I'm gonna do the same yellow glow for these signs as well. Okay, and my next step is to paint the wooden counter. I know there's a lot of shadows on it, making it look a little bit messy, but you don't have to intensify the shadows too much. Just focus on the pure color of the wood on the counter surfaces, these two sides. And I think I'm gonna switch to my medium tip water brush. It's a little less watery. So I see the wood color as yellow ochre and a little bit of orange. Okay, and it, of course, it's much more intense compared to the underpainting. Some more orange or even burnt sienna. So I see the wooden surface is uneven because of the lighting condition. Some more burnt sienna with orange here. It's a little shaded. Okay, so I'm gonna add shadows right below the countertop later. So this is just the most saturated colors. This side, I think it contains more burnt sienna or brown. And I'm gonna shade it with like blue purple. This side, not getting very much sunlight, but just I can still feel like 5% of sunlight landing on this shaded side anyway. So during the day, I think nothing is 100% shaded. There's always a bit of sunlight bouncing onto that shaded part or the shadow. Okay, so now maybe hold my tripod a little bit higher so you can see the entire sketch. Okay, so I just painted the solid wooden surfaces of the countertop. And now my next step is to keep painting more of these vibrant colors, like the oranges on these gift cards, the yellow Rice Krispie, this red decorated border over here, and the red signs. Okay, so for the after that underpainting, I like to focus on the warm, the pure, saturated colors before moving on to the colder and muted colors. Okay, some more. Let's see. I'm gonna grab orange. After yellow, I'm gonna work on these orange areas, these gift cards. Okay, and I'm gonna grab yellow ochre with orange for most of these pastries. You can dilute the yellow ochre a bit. Some of these like things have like lighter tint of yellow. Okay, I'm gonna clean my brush. Now I'm ready to move on to the red areas. But before that, the granola bars, diluted yellow ochre. And for these red signs, I think some part of it getting some more lamplight is orange red. Okay, so I'm gonna mix some orange into permanent red to start with. Like the higher part, lower part, some pure permanent red. So there's a bit of value and color transition. I'm gonna switch to the other reference photo and paint the girl's red apron. So a lot of matching colors. red apron, and if you want to, you can grab some leftover blue violet to shade the bottom bit very quickly. So a lot of areas could be done in just one layer, wet into wet. So I just painted and shaded the red apron at the same time with a bit of blue purple tone for the bottom half. Yeah, a bit of vibrant red right over here. The hairband is also red. The antlers are brown. You can certainly grab some leftover browns from your palette, like burnt sienna or raw umber. Okay, and then I'm gonna just get in these tiny little spots of red and oranges in. And I wanna just color in their skin colors. So for general skin color, I like to mix orange and red together. And dilute it with a lot of water for like a general skin color. Orange and red. Okay, so I just color in the skin for the barista. Again, it's like a universal skin color. For like darker skinned people, you might want to mix a bit more burnt sienna into it, into orange and red. Okay, and for the little girl, pinky face. So same for the hand and neck. Arms, so wintertime, not very much skin is showing, so yeah, just the faces and the hands. Okay, so let's just answer your questions that I just saw a little bit later. Okay, yeah, no problem. And now let's just have look at all of these vibrant colors again. I want to get all of the reds, yellows, and oranges in before moving on to the cold colors. Now her hair, I think it is orange brown. So she dyed her hair, yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty much all the warm colors that I spot in here. Now it's time to move on to the cold colors. I want to start with the lady customer's jacket. Really beautiful, kind of a cobalt blue town. And I think I'm going to start to paint and shade her jacket at the same time by controlling the man water and color definition. So I'm grabbing cobalt blue. Sorry, I think this is Prussian blue. And cobalt blue, they're very similar. Cobalt blue, Prussian blue, they're quite similar. You can use any dark shade of blue that you have in your palette. I'm going to start with a lighter value by diluting a lot of water. By diluting the cobalt blue with a lot of water. This part is illuminated by the sun, so the blue tone is being washed out into a watery kind in the watercolor world. Okay, and then towards the right side of her body, the tone is heavier. It's the same cobalt blue, but now it's heavier, not too watery. The left side of the arm is more watery compared to the right side. Okay, so you can paint and shade at the same time using the same color at different values. More water, less water of cobalt blue. So it's kind of shaded already. And I'm going to do the same thing for the jeans. I'm going to use more cerulean blue, mix it into cobalt blue for the jeans. Okay, I'm gonna shade it a little bit for on the right side using a more intense blue. Okay, so because the sun is shining from the left. Yeah, so her pants are shaded. And I'm also gonna color the little girl's coat as well. As you can see, the left side is more watery green. You can use any dark shade of green, like let's see, Viridian green, with a bit of blue mixed into it. Okay, very dark shade of green. I'm gonna start with a watery version. Okay, and then go back to the palette to grab a more concentrated version. Wet into wet. Okay, so her body is glowing. It's really illuminated by the sun here on the left. Okay, now let's just fill in these holes. These negative spaces between the straps is the color of the counter. Okay, now ready to paint the counter with any gray that you like. So I'm gonna mix a bit of permanent violet into cobalt blue. Let's start with a very light, mild version of bluish gray. And then the right side is more shaded. Okay, so and most of the counter is actually pretty illuminated in the sun, the countertop. It's just the right edge here is shaded. I also want to shade the right side of the rectangular prism counter structure with like a blue purplish gray. So this is like a wet on dry. The previous layer of the wood is all dried. Okay, so now the counter looks more three-dimensional with shading happening on the surface. I'm also going to do the same thing for the base of the counter. This is a fairly light gray because it's facing the sunlight. Okay, and now I'm ready to paint the other gray areas, like these screens, using maybe like a violet kind of gray. Very diluted because all of these are catching a lot of sunlight directly. Yeah, same for the black metallic shelf holding the gift cards. Some light grays to shade these white gift cards. Okay, so keep playing with your grays, make it more or less diluted for the different areas that you see and feel. Could be bluish or purplish or even greenish when you mix blue, green, and purple together at different ratios. More blue, make it more bluish. Okay, and I'm gonna clean my brush and paint this area with this vibrant red. I'm also gonna add some nice retouches on the bottom of these menus. some more glowing red. The top is brighter, getting some more lamplight. I'm also going to paint the messenger bag of the lady here using orange brown. Orange mixed with burnt sienna. So the brown thing in the sun, it looks more orange brown, being affected by the sunlight. Some more burnt sienna, so it's not way too similar to the counter area. The right side of the bag is more shaded with purple mixed into burnt sienna. Okay, so the bag is shaded. The left side is glowing in the sun. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to use the leftover orange brown for her hair. For the girl, I think I'm going to start with yellow ochre for the blonde hair. A little bit diluted. Some leftover brown for the shaded side on the right. Like burnt sienna. Okay, the left side of most of these things are glowing in the sun. Right side is shaded. Same for the leather shoes. Yeah, they have matching colored shoes. Yeah, we still have like almost 50 people watching. Wow, thank you so much. And now I'm going to answer the questions. So somebody's asking, what brand of ink are you using? It's the Noodlers ink. But I've made a video like a few weeks ago. We were buying the Noodlers brown ink on Amazon. You may not get the correct one. Okay, apparently it's a Noodlers ink. If you are buying it, try to buy it in person from your local art supply stores. Do not buy it on Amazon, because I bought two. I actually ordered two over the past few weeks, and both of these are the wrong ones, not the one that I got for the first time, and they're not waterproof. It's kind of a long story, but again, just want to mention this is the correct one. It should be brown number 41 from Noodlers. Okay, so Noodlers ink, fountain pen, bottled ink, bulletproof, number 41 brown. So do not get this on Amazon anymore. Okay, the first time I'm ordering it, I got it from Amazon. It's the correct one, and it's waterproof. The most recent two times I got is wrong, two wrong bottles. Okay, the wrong brown ink that is not waterproof. So this is the correct one. So yeah, you can take a screenshot and try to buy it in person at your local art supply stores or stationery stores. Do not buy it on Amazon, because like 90% of the time you'll get the wrong one. Okay, so now I'm going to start to shade these areas a little bit more, like their outfits. So using cobalt blue and a bit of permanent violet. I want like a higher level of contrast. So here, I'm going to clean my brush on the towel and just rub gently. So it's blending wet on dry with the previous layer. Okay, so there's a shadow from the hood on the jacket. Okay, shadows from wrinkles. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the little girl's coat by mixing a little leftover red into the green to shade her jacket even more heavily, so there's higher level of contrast. And her little pants, could be any kind of gray that you want to use. You can also start painting the right side first using pretty intense gray. Clean your brush and just drag it towards the illuminated side. So you have like a nice free flow of a gradient. The soles, yeah, kind of grayish. I'm also going to use these grays by mixing blue, purple, and green together for shadows. There's definitely the shadow from the caregiver lady here. And it's probably over here, pretty close to the counter. And the shadow for bag. I'm gonna make the shadow a little bit smaller than it seems in the photo. Okay, so somewhere over here. So the yellow underneath the shadow is still glowing. Okay, little shadows for their body. Again, the sun is shining from the left. Shadows are on the right. Same for the little girl. I think the shadow from the door is being overlapped with the shadows of these people. Very interesting, right? Shadows are so important. So making the whole interior space more reasonable, these people are really landing on the floor. Could be bluish or purplish. Shadows from both people and the door. Something like that, okay? Much more drama now with shadow. So do not do your shadows way too early. I know in the beginning of the painting process, it might be a little confusing because everything has no shadows. Shadows always come in around the last stage, glazed over the pure colors. Okay, so we have a wooden platform over here as well. And I want to paint the last little gray areas on the very left and in these small spaces. Okay, let's speed up a bit. All right, so if you want to sketch with me every week in January and for the rest of 2025, whenever you have the time, you can check out my like online classes that I teach live on Zoom every Saturday for beginners, every Thursday for intermediates. And yeah, so you can make some progress on your artistic development. If you're always looking to, have a more consistent habit in drawing and painting, you can consider joining my online classes, which is on the website called Coffee. You can check it out on my Instagram. If many of you follow me on Instagram. Let's just get these gray areas in. For the fridge and for the bakery display shelf. And I also want to shade the wall behind lightly with a gray tone. Maybe a purplish one. Yeah, very light wash. Yeah, purple is a nice color to shade. And here it's even darker, getting less sunlight. And I want to shade her face a little bit more on the right using leftover browns. Yeah, same for this lady's face as well. A bit of brown tones. But still a bit of red cheeks. Some small renderings. And I'm going to suggest a bit of shadow for these hands and bodies over here in the middle of everything. Yeah, some more intense grays. Another layer, gives everything more sense of depth. Okay, again, the shadow on the floor, I think is quite important to make everything come alive. I think that's pretty much it for my little cafe sketch demo. And for the frames, hold on, yeah, just the frames for these menus using leftover gray. And small bit of shadows. As you can see, everything, even though it seems like a flat picture frame, it could project a shadow onto the wall on one side of it. And lastly, while waiting for more questions and comments coming in, I'm gonna write down like a caption over here. Happy holidays. From the Netherlands is Durian, and Darlene from Seattle, very close. Wow. Okay, so now just write down happy holidays. Merry Christmas to everyone. And Happy New Year 2025. Yeah, we'll be heading into 2025 in like 6 days. Less than that, I think. Yeah. These days are flowing away so fast. I'm gonna use different colors. Yeah, so again, if you want to sketch with me like every week in 2025, you could consider joining my online sketching classes, which is live on Zoom every week. If you want to improve in your craft, you do need like a consistent practice, like starting with at least once a week, right? And then maybe 2 times and 3 times a week later on. It doesn't have to be every single day because it's a very hard goal for everyone. We all have busy lives. If you're able to sketch maybe 2 or 3 times a week, that's great. Or at least one time a week. Happy holidays. And I'm gonna write down this is Christmas Eve at my neighborhood Starbucks. At my neighborhood. Bustling with people. Yes, you can always write down some sound effects and also other things that may not be visible in your sketch. Your feelings, your mood, the weather, and it's a rare sunny day in winter. Okay, here we go. So here's my demo for today's live session. I'll be doing more when I have time in 2025 for sure. And oh, okay. Yeah, and happy holidays to everyone. You can follow me on Instagram because I don't update my YouTube channels these days very often because of all different kind of responsibilities. I will try my best to update my YouTube videos with more videos for sure. Yeah, I'm always thinking about you, waiting for new videos on YouTube. So yeah, I'll try my best to update my YouTube channel as often as I can. If you want to see the most updates, you can follow me on Instagram. Yeah, that I post every 2 or 3 days on Instagram. Let's see, my account name is just Ciao Becky. So right over here, you can install Instagram on your phone or another digital tablet. You can follow me on Instagram, which is Ciao Becky. And yeah, I have like 99K followers here. I post every 2 or 3 days. Okay, of cafe sketches, my everyday sketches, and my sketchbook. You can also check out my online classes by clicking this link on my Instagram profile page. It says coffee.com and follow link. And wow, I have almost 1,000 supporters right now. That's a nice number. 999 supporters. Who will be the 1,000th supporter? Okay, interesting. Now I'm gonna have a look. Yeah, so I posted my January beginners and intermediate classes here on Coffee. If you're interested in improving your skills and also just have fun sketching with me every week, you could consider joining these classes in January. 12 people already joined for the beginners, 11 people joined for the intermediate already. 2 weeks, about 2 weeks until classes are starting. And yeah, so any questions, let me know in the comments section. Okay. I can also send you the class links directly to you if you can't find it. And let's check out the last comments. It's time for the last bit of comments before we say goodbye until next time. I have a new YouTube video uploading tomorrow. Yeah, okay, of a vlog video of me sketching at that cafe in Fort Langley. And you're welcome, Sharon. And yeah, people have been following me on Instagram for a long time. Okay, and Joanne, yes, nice to see you, Joanne. From Florida, somewhere tropical, very warm there. Okay, that's great. Okay, just waiting for last bit of comments. We have 50 people watching now. That's quite a big number. Okay, and thank you so much, Laura, and also everyone else that's commenting on here. You're welcome, Laura. This was fun, right? This is how we simplify a complicated cafe scenery into just the bare essence. And I'm gonna try to reveal myself. So remove pin at this time. Okay. Waiting for the last few questions or comments, if we have any. But again, the cafe sketch like this would take me like an hour and a half, maximum 2 hours to do on location as well. Here, yeah. Okay, now I think I just showed up temporarily on here. So, all right, the cafe sketch like this would take me about 1.5 hours to do, including the drawing and painting of the food and drink and the interior. Not too long. When I'm doing these live sessions and also teaching those classes, especially the beginners class, I teach at a very, very low speed. Okay, because I'm drawing and talking and teaching at the same time. The speed for the beginners class is very, very slow. So these two things would take the whole session of a beginner's class, like 2 hours. So I'll be showing on a separate sheet of paper of how to mix colors, how to layer, and how to blend colors together for the beginner class. So the coffee cup and the cookie will take pretty much 2 hours for the beginners class to learn. Okay. And this cafe interior may not be in the beginner class, but if I do something like this in the beginner class, it might take 2.5 hours, okay, for the cafe interior. But this one I think is more for intermediate class. Intermediate class, yeah, we can finish it in the whole 2 hour session in the intermediate class. It will be slower than this live session if you're joining the intermediate class. Okay, not too fast. And yeah, and Darlene is saying, how do you like your new sketchbook compared to the Etcher sketchbook? I like the paper. I know it's not watercolor paper, but my watercolor techniques work so well on this mixed media paper. Yeah, as you can, I really like the vibrant colors. And yeah, now my face is showing. Is it? Okay. Yeah, so I really like the vibrant colors of watercolors acting on this mixed media paper. It's not for watercolors, and some people they have reviewed it on YouTube. They say that they don't like how watercolor works on this paper, but works perfectly for me. Okay, so again, this is a mixed media paper, and maybe tricky for beginners to control watercolors on it, but it's perfect for me. Okay, for my techniques, and yeah, I've been loving it. Okay, and now I have to say goodbye now because it's getting around. Which one is it? Someone is asking. It is the Fabriano paper. I'll try to get it into this Fabriano Venezia. You can find this on Amazon. Just search Fabriano sketchbook, and it's at this beautiful mosaic or red brick pattern. And I bought this on Amazon. You may be also be able to find it at your local art supply stores. The Fabriano sketchbook with this beautiful red brick cover. Yeah, so you can ask around. I think it should be pretty easy to find online or at our supply stores. Okay, no worries. Give it a try. You may or may not like it, okay? Because the same stuff works differently for different people. Yeah, but works really well for me. Okay, now, and let's see, is it hot press? It is hot press. Well, it's not watercolor paper, but the surface is so creamy and smooth. As I would say, yes, it's hot press. Very similar to hot press watercolor paper, but it's mixed media. Okay? Okay. So you're welcome, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your vacations. A lot of you are on vacations until after the new year. And you're welcome, everyone. And yeah, thank you so much for joining the live sessions. And yeah, and again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Yeah, you're welcome, Darlene. Bye, everyone. Whoops. And take care, okay? I'll see you around in the new year. There'll be a new video uploading tomorrow. Yeah, a vlog video. Bye, everyone.